Hi, my name is Charlie Brown. I'm with the Journey Church here in Chesapeake, Virginia, and I'm stepping in today for Pastor Nate, who's had some serious ankle surgery, and so he asked me to preach this coming Sunday, and I'm recording this message as kind of a preview for what we'll be talking about this Sunday. I want to talk to you today about the importance of images, the images that we tend to create and grapple with ourselves, but also the image of God that is within us, and which of these images will we choose to follow or be a reflection of? I remember watching the Disney movie Snow White and watching the witch look into the mirror and say, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest fair of all?" And it answered back, "O Lady Queen, though fair ye be, Snow White is fairer far to see." We all tend to look into mirrors, rather either real or imaginary, in order to see an image of ourselves. There's a certain way we want to look. We want a perception. We want to present ourselves a certain way in society. So today I want to talk to you about a different image. It's the image of God. What is the image of God? What are the images of humankind? And what is the image that we need to embrace? Or how do we chase the image of God, so to speak? N.T. Wright does a good job of describing what God saw when He created the world, or when He looked into the mirror. And he says when God created the world and the universe and humanity and everything in it, He looked at it and He said it was very good. He looked at it and He did not see, this was not a project. It was not a picture. It was not a finished product. It was actually a project. That God was really trying to unite heaven and earth, and His goal was that when He created humanity, that He would use people to work this project with Him, hand in hand, to build heaven on earth. Jesus spoke about it as being the kingdom of heaven, or the kingdom of God. He said the kingdom of God is here. And so when God created the earth and all that was in it, He created us in His image, and our goal is to reflect His image in all that He is. Unfortunately, sin wrecked that image and knocked the project off of its rails. Jesus redeemed the project, and now the followers of Jesus are to celebrate that redemption and get back on track to build the kingdom of God, bringing heaven and earth together in one place. In the ancient temples, there was always an image of the God that they worshipped. The idea was that you would come in and you would see this God, you would view this God, you would offer sacrifices to this God, and then the God would sort of redeem, or not redeem, but offer some form of blessing back to you. But the process was always, we must appease this image, this God, and then the God will be nice to us. And so things tended to run in this circle. But the image of God is quite different. Again, N.T. Wright and some other scholars said if Jesus was looking into the mirror, that mirror would not be a flat mirror on the wall. It would be a mirror tilted at 45 degrees so that when he saw His image, it wouldn't bounce back to Him. It would bounce throughout the entire earth and all throughout the universe. Because God wants to share who He is and what His purpose is and what His plans are. And He wants His virtues and His characters to flood the entire earth. And so when we talk about the image of God coming down, we talk about His image coming down upon us, and we take advantage of that. The image of God looks like the virtues of God. Things like creativity and love and grace and forgiveness, an emphasis upon the common good, truth, humility, glory, celebration, servanthood, redemption, wisdom, and the list can go on and on. This is kind of what the image of God looks like. And so if we reflect the image of God, this is what we should look like as well. But what are the images of humankind? We're always grappling and struggling with that. So some of the images that we have are, you would guess them, kind of stereotypical things. Our images are also our idols. They're cars, clothes, careers, money, hobby, sports, families, politics, or politicians. Sometimes it's our physical bodies. If you look at my body, you think that's not the body that I would want to worship by any stretch of the imagination. But we look at our bodies in our society, they are very, very important to us. And so we give a lot of time and attention to shaping and reshaping and molding and framing and propping them up and making them look fake, but hopefully making them look wonderful, because the reality is we want to be seen and perceived in a certain way. So we focus on our image and reflecting who we are. My son and I talk frequently about sports and things, and he's always looking up the price of sporting event tickets. And he said, we can go watch an LA Lakers basketball game. We can sit on the first row right behind the players, but the tickets cost literally thousands of dollars a piece. So I asked myself, who would pay $3,000-$4,000 to watch a basketball program, or a basketball game? If you're spending that kind of money, you're not spending that kind of money to watch a game. You're spending that kind of money so people will see you watching the basketball game. It's where you sit and what you wear. That's just the world that we live in. But all of these idols that we chase wind up breaking our hearts. They do not have the capacity to fill us with purpose and meaning and the kind of virtues that God does. St. Augustine, when he talked about sin and idols are a sin, he said sin is disordered love. It's identifying things in our lives that are actually good, but we place them in the wrong place. They have the wrong order. And so while we love them, if we love them more than we love God, they're disordered, and that disorder creates great dysfunction in our lives, and it tends to leave us very, very empty. You might notice that athletes, if they suffer a bad injury and they can't play their sport for a number of months, or if they retire, all of a sudden they struggle with life, because the very meaning of life is that activity that they have. That's what they worship, doing that thing. And when it's gone, they're empty, they struggle, they have depression. Celebrities, we can name a long list of celebrities who have become what we would call successful because they have power and fame and money, and they're very, very popular. And yet, how many times do we hear about these celebrities that say, and they're also struggling with alcohol or drug-related problems, or they're having depression, and many of them attempt suicide, and many of them actually commit suicide. How is it that we are so empty when they're being filled with so many things? These things are these images or these idols. We believe they give us great meaning and purpose, but they leave us empty. There's a popular postmodern novelist named David Foster Wallace. He was an atheist, and he was speaking to a group of people, ironically, just before he died, and he died by taking his own life. But I want you to listen to his statement. As an atheist, towards the end of his life, he said, "In the day-to-day trenches of adult life, there is actually no such thing as not worshiping. Everybody worships. The only choice they have is what to worship. And the compelling reason for maybe choosing Jesus Christ, God, Allah, or the Wiccan Mother Goddess, the reason for choosing a spiritual God is that anything else will eat you alive." He said, money and things will never be enough. There will never be enough money, never be enough tangible things. Beauty and sex at some point will leave you feeling ugly. Power, the more you have, the more you will need, and the more you'll need more to numb your own personal fears. Intellectual power holds the fear of being found wrong. He said, these are all subconscious default settings in our fallen nature. They're the things that we strive for, and yet the harder we run and chase after them, the emptier we are. And in his words, again, he said, they will eat us alive. So we struggle in our society to come up with an image that gives us that good feeling and success, and yet the reality is, it leaves us wanting. I think our calling is to reflect the image of God, the great image of God. We create, we love, and we nurture images which we love. And sometimes we create, nurture, and love images of ourselves. So we hear about people using all kinds of tools and things to help their beauty. And I don't mean to offend you if you've done this, but fun things like liposuction, Botox, tummy tuck, facelift, all of these things. And for men, you know what men do? We, not I, many men go to the gym and we lift weights. Why? So we can more effectively bring the groceries in from the car? No, so we look good. When I went to college, I had a suite mate, S-U-I-T-E, suite mate, not S-W-E-E-T, suite mate. He was a bodybuilder, and he was a very funny guy. Sometimes I would catch him standing in the bathroom, and he would stand in front of the mirror, and he would flex his arms and his muscles and do all of this sort of thing. The only reason he lifted weights was to look fantastic. The funny thing about this guy is he only worked on his body from the waist up. So from the waist up, he looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. From the waist down, he looked like Tweety Bird because he had these really skinny legs because nobody ever saw his legs. So he didn't worry about working his legs. He just wanted the upper body so he would look awesome. But there was no practical purpose for all of the muscles that he had. So we create, we love, and we nurture what we love, and we have a tendency to love ourselves more than anything else. For a reason, God said, you need to love Him first, and then we need to love everybody else. We reflect the image of God by loving God first. That's our first and greatest step, that we need to step in and say, if I want to reflect the image of God, I'm just going to fall in love with God. As human beings, and frequently as religious people, we try to identify the weaknesses, the problems, the sins in our life, and we say, I'm going to work hard and I'm going to get rid of all of the negative things that come into my life. Dallas Willard says, it's not possible. We cannot possibly take those things and remove them from our lives. They are too powerful. But he says, but the way we can get rid of them is we fill our heart with Jesus Christ. We fill our hearts with God and who He is. We love Him first and foremost and more than anything else. And the more we pour God into our lives, the more that forces out all the things that leave us empty and hurting. The things that are eating us alive are forced out by putting in the great and wonderful things. So we must train ourselves to reflect the image of God more than striving for some other image that we know will leave us empty. When I was a teenager, I worked in the summers for Certainty Roofing. There was a roofing manufacturing plant. My father was the warehouse superintendent there, had worked there all of his career. Everyone related to Certainty in Dallas knew my father. They knew him as a good man, as a man of integrity, a man of kindness, a man of honor. Everyone loved and respected my dad. Fortunately, I loved and respected my dad also. And I knew anytime I was at Certainty and anytime I was working, people would look at me, they would never see me as Charlie Brown. They always saw me as Bobby Joe's son. That's Bobby Joe's son. That's BJ's boy. He's the one working over there. And so I was very aware of this, and because I love my father, I wanted to make sure that everything I did in the context of my working relationship with Certainty was done in such a way that it would be a positive and good reflection of my father. I can tell you, I enjoyed working there. I enjoyed everything that I experienced there, and part of it was because I was BJ's son, and people had respect for me because of my father. I found great purpose in loving my father and reflecting his character. I didn't have to be known as Charlie Brown. It was far, far better for me to be known as Bobby Joe Brown's son. It's far greater for you and I to be known as the child of the King, as the Son of God, not the Son of God like Jesus, but one of the children of God who stand in a great relationship with Him. We reflect the image of God when we make a very clear, intentional decision to be Christ-like. And we all need to take that step. When we take that step, then we submit ourselves to the truths of God, which may sound like a negative thing. The idea of submission is not a real positive word in our vocabulary today, but it is actually good news. We need to submit ourselves to biblical truth. 2 Peter 3:18 gives us a commandment. It says, grow in the grace and knowledge of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. To Him be glory both now and forever. In grace, we acknowledge that God gives us everything we have. We didn't earn it. We didn't deserve it. It's a gift from God. But when I take it and I accept it, I understand that every single thing I have is from God, and I want to use it in a way that reflects that love to other people. I want them to see my life and see what I have and what I do. And in me, I want them to see who Jesus Christ is. I want them to see His truth and His virtues, etc. I grow in knowledge by dedicating myself to grow, to understand biblical truth and to put it into practice. I lead a small group at the Journey Church called the Inward Journey. We talk about 5 core disciplines that are important for being an apprentice follower of Jesus Christ. We say we need to spend time with God, personal time every day. We need to have good biblical studies so we are well informed and so we have the knowledge of God and know what that means. We need to understand what is prayer and how do we do that. What does worship look like? Not just on a Sunday morning in a corporate service, but also in our day-to-day activities. And stewardship. All the resources that I have can and should be used in a way that reflects the love, the greatness, and the character of God. They're not just for me. When I was a child, my parents gave me a tricycle. Then they gave me a bicycle. Then my dad gave me a go-kart. Then I got a motor scooter. Eventually I got a car. And later on I learned how to drive a bus and a larger truck. So I moved from learning how to ride a tricycle to learning how to drive a big truck and a bus. If I had enough knowledge and training, I could fly the space shuttle. Now people who know me would die laughing at that thought, but the reality is there. With enough knowledge and training, we can do great things. We need the knowledge of God. It equips us to do things far, far greater than we have ever imagined. But we also need to grow in that grace of God and understand that it's a gift. But when He gives us that gift, He didn't say, here it is, just enjoy it on your own. He gave us this gift of grace to say, this empowers you to work on the project of creation with me. Now you can work with me to create heaven and earth together. You can help build the kingdom of God. But grace is something that must be worked out and exercised and used. When I went to seminary, my first week on campus, I met a friend named Jim Riddle. I was a first-year seminary student. Jim was working on his Doctor of Ministry degree. Jim was a really smart guy. He worked as a chemistry teacher part-time at Texas Wesleyan College while he was working on his doctorate. He was a son of missionaries who served in Chile. Every Sunday night, he would speak to his parents on his ham radio, and Jim loved electronics, and he understood all of the elements of electronics and fun stuff like that. His wife loved him, so for Christmas, she gave him the ultimate man gift. She gave him a huge television set, 3 feet tall, 3 feet wide. I mean, the box was huge. But there was just one dilemma. When he opened the box to see his brand new TV, it was in 1,000 pieces. It was a build-your-own TV set and kit. And so in the context of the kit, there were sensors, capacitors, resistors, circuit boards, solder, a soldering iron, a screen, speakers, all the elements, everything needed to make the television work. But he had to put it together, which he absolutely loved to do. And so he did it, and it worked perfectly. Grace is a wonderful gift, but it's a gift that we receive, and we need to work it and put it into practice in our lives and make sure that it has a practical place for us. That's why God gives it to us. He says, here's my grace, here's my forgiveness, here's my redemption, here's my second chances. Here are the things that put you back together again and put you back on course to have an ordered love and the right kind of life that He intends for us to have. So let's be clear about this whole image business. We are created in the image of God. We are created to be in union with Him, and we are created to work on this project called creation together. And working that creation, working on that project means we're working to build the kingdom of God. We need the knowledge of God, and we need the grace of God. Any and all attempts outside of the knowledge and the grace of God will eat us alive and leave us empty. We all struggle with images. We all have certain images of ourselves that we want to portray and we want to be perceived as a certain way. And we might actually accomplish those goals. But those goals might also leave us just as empty as many of those celebrities or celebrity athletes or people who have hit, quote, the big time in life, only to find that they ate them alive and left them with a very empty life. Sitting at the table with God, feasting on the riches that He has poured out for us, that is His plan. And you get to choose to accept that plan, or you get to choose to reject it. I'm encouraging you to choose well. I hope you'll understand and recognize you're made in the image of the Father, and He wants you to live in a way that reflects that image, and you will be filled and full and have a life full of meaning and purpose if you will do that. So I hope this message helps you. I hope it inspires and motivates you to seek the right thing, and I hope you have a great week. I would love to see you at the Journey Church this Sunday. If you're in the area, we'd love to see you live and in color in one of our services. So God bless you and have a great week.